Louisville is the most populated city in Kentucky, and it's also home to Churchill Downs and boxing great Muhammad Ali.
Louisville as a place is extremely dynamic. We have 2 airports in town. We have multiple expressways and highways that run through. We have the river that flows through.
That river is the Ohio, separating Louisville from the state of Indiana.
We have 3 main bridges that take us from Indiana to Kentucky. The Clark Memorial Bridge is a 4-lane bridge with no divider, no median. So there are 2 lanes each that oppose each other.
So you'll have overturned semis, multiple car pileups. So we do a lot in this city, any type of rescue you can think of.
Being a large city with bridges, high-rises, and many waterways, rescuers train for all kinds of emergencies. On the afternoon of May 15, 2024, it would take every resource that the Louisville Fire Department had when this happened.
911, Operator Sparks, where's your emergency?
We're on the 2nd Street Bridge coming into town. There's an 18-wheeler hanging off the bridge.
You said the semi is hanging over the edge of the bridge?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She's hanging over the bridge.
Is the driver out of the truck at all?
No, she cannot get out of the truck. She's in the cab that's
the
pointing
driver
towards
can't.
the water.
She cannot in the cab that's hanging over the water.
The cab is hanging over the river.
When I first got the call and the caller told me that there was a semi hanging off the bridge, it did not register in my head that this could be a real thing. So I processed the call, got it up for police, fire, and EMS to all go, and then they confirmed to us that the semi was hanging off the bridge.
There was a semi-truck driver. Someone came into her lane swerving around a vehicle that was stalled. And when they came around in her lane, they took out her axle, which gave her no control and sent her right over the edge.
You have a semi hanging halfway over the bridge. 6 inches of metal that are just holding it there.
The biggest fear was that any sharp movement in that cab could be deadly. Especially daunting given that the bridge towers over 70 feet above the Ohio River.
We have a truck that's hanging on by a thread. So we need people in harnesses. This is going to be a high-angle rope rescue. So I look back at one of the guys in the back. Hey, I need you to put on a harness.
That guy in the back was firefighter Bryce Carden.
I'm getting the harness on and getting ready, and as we're pulling up on the bridge, I'm finishing my last buckle, and I hop out, and that's where it started.
They knew the situation would require a rope rescue, but there was one major obstacle.
I look up at the bridge and think, we're not going to be able to do our normal, let's just rig to the bridge and then lower ourselves down, because the truck has protruded out 20 feet. So now we need something that we don't normally use in this manner, and that would be our aerial ladder.
In May of 2024, as a big rig cab was hanging off of Louisville's Clark Memorial Bridge high above the Ohio River, first responders knew the situation would require a rope rescue. Once the truck was in position, they rigged the ropes to the ladder. They would use what's called a dual rope system, where one rope releases slack to lower the rescuer. Another rope tightens the slack to raise the rescuer.
He said, we're going to send the ropes through the ladder, and we're going to drop you over. And I said, let's do it.
There was definitely an unconventional in the moment. And what I mean by that is we do train for that rope rescue, that pick-off rescue. We've done it hundreds of times. We don't train to do it off of our aerial ladder.
This would prove to be a painstaking and intricate maneuver. First responders tried to calm the terrified truck driver.
Sergeant Lucas, he was talking to her about stay calm, try not to move a whole lot, because what we had was unsecured. You wanted to just reassure her that we're coming, we're trying to get to you as fast as we can.
To put the plan in action, they would first have to position the engine ladder above the teetering cab.
That day we had multiple people that were running ropes, physically hands-on ropes, and we had a couple people on each one controlling the ropes, letting slack out, pulling slack in.
The goal there in mind is let's get the ladder tip directly over the cab so we have a point that we can take our ropes from that can get us directly to the driver of the semi.
You don't train for something like this at all.
I was so focused that I was locked in. Like, that was the feeling of that I'm going to be the guy to get this done. They're controlling the ropes up top, but it's on me to get it done at that point.
I remember telling Bryce, one thing I do not want you to do is step onto the vehicle itself. I don't want you to shift it. Here is where it's holding on, and we don't want to move that.
As you're 100 feet out and 100 feet up, you know, when you're swinging in the air, trying not to touch that truck was pretty tough. But I was able to get my foot positioned on the mirror first and then put my leg on the door.
When he made contact, he did his best to reassure the terrified driver.
I'm like, hey, I'm here, but here's what I need to do. And she was awesome to be able to basically help me help her.
Firefighter Carden emphasized to the driver the critical need to remain calm and still. Any slight movement could potentially send the cab plunging into the river below. The next thing Carden needed to do was get the driver into a harness and out of the cab.
As I started to pull her out, I realized that the seatbelt was still caught. So I had a knife on me, and I was able to cut her out of her seatbelt and pull her out to me.
But as he pulled her out, something frightening happened. Firefighter Bryce Carden was hanging 100 feet above the Ohio River, attempting to rescue the driver of a big rig that was hanging off a bridge.
So with technical rescue, you don't want to rush anything. However, you have to go quickly, move with a purpose. Because in this case, you've got that precarious position of that truck, and we're not sure, is it going to fall into the water?
There was a very tense moment in there because she was leaning straight forward, the cab was, and she had her feet on the gas and the brake at the same time. So as I pulled her out and took that pressure off of that air brake, it went shh. And so everybody on scene was like it was like a split second. I'll never forget that. I was like, even myself, I was like thinking, I got to get her out now. Like I was going to yank her out.
He quickly got the driver out of the cab and gave the signal to bring them up.
I knew it was out of my control at that point. It's all on them.
Our next movement is going to be, let's get away from the truck. If this thing falls, we just want to be away from it. Captain Rogers has his guys extend the ladder out. That brings Bryce and her up.
Once I got the signal to extend the ladder to pick them up, I knew I had to be extra cautious because not only did I have my firefighter, I had the lady that was trapped inside on that rope.
And then, sure enough, she comes right over the edge onto the street. And that is a sigh of relief for all of us.
The driver was taken to the hospital to check for any injuries. And once the rescuers had a moment to collect themselves, they too were struck by the magnitude of what they had just experienced.
I didn't even realize that my heart was beating as much as it was until afterwards. I have this watch that told me I probably needed to take some meditation time because my heart rate was elevated for so long.
It was like running it into the goal line. Then my adrenaline came down. It just clicked in like, what did we just do?
What they did was perform an incredible rescue.
Being able to be the person on the rope and my team come together on that day to get it done, it was such a good feeling. That's definitely why I took this job.
Recently, Sheldon Yellen of our sponsor, Belfour Property Restoration, visited the scene of the rescue on board Louisville's Marine One rescue boat.
Bryce, what goes through your mind when you come back out here and see that bridge?
So coming back out here, it all just kind of comes back to me, everything that went on that day, you know, just the teamwork that went into it. And every time I look at it, I think about how proud I am to be a Louisville firefighter, what this opportunity was given to me by being a Louisville firefighter, you know, and it's definitely life-changing, but it's been good for the department as a whole.
And Bryce, does being back out here make you proud?
Very proud. Very proud of myself, proud of the Louisville Fire Department, and just proud of my whole team who was able to get it done that day. You know, it's so much of the success to the team, you know, and to her, how she was able to keep her emotions in check and help me help her. So just very proud of the whole crew, and now we can continue to learn and be better next time.
Because of this highly specialized team of first responders, they were able to perform a rescue unlike anything their department had ever done.
It's just a testament to their training, to their skill set, and to their preparedness.
I was proud of our whole team that we were able to just come together and get it done while the whole world was watching, essentially. And so it was good.
We have pulled off something that we've never done before. And it's good to see all that training come through. It's a good feeling. We have accomplished a once-in-a-lifetime rescue.